You know, I think one of the greatest consoles of all time is the PlayStation 1. It changed everything. It was something that none of us really expected. What's going on, everyone? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Today we are looking at the 10 PlayStation 1 games I keep coming back to.
I will not.
You shall regret those words. We will meet again.
While Castlevania Symphony of the Night is not going to win any awards for the quality of its voice acting, everything else that this game does, it just crushes. It's so good. From a graphic perspective, this is one of the best looking Castlevania games ever released. From a gameplay perspective, it directly influenced probably the next 10 to 15 years of Castlevania releases, up to the point where we kind of got into the Lord of Shadows series. But still, without this game, we wouldn't call them Metroidvanias, because the Castlevania games before this weren't exploration-based. They were linear. You just proceeded through your levels. This one changed all of that. Now, Simon's Quest, sure, that was a little bit different, but that was more of an RPG than anything. Symphony of the Night, though, influenced directly where the franchise went and things that people still equate with quality gameplay to this day. You play as Alucard, you're going through the Castle Dracula to eliminate the threat of your father Dracula, and it's just a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic game, incorporating amazing exploration, fantastic combat, wonderful graphics, and some killer RPG elements that just make this game a perfect 10. And you know it wouldn't be a list for me without at least one sports title on here, and here we go. This is Hot Shots Golf 2, or Everybody's Golf if you're in other parts of the world. And to me, this game is just fantastic. It's one of the best golf games ever released. This, to me, is in the upper echelon of golfing games out there. This is as good as Mario Golf games. This is as good as things like the Tiger Woods series on the Wii. It's just a magical experience. Sony had lightning in a bottle with this, and we even were able to get this carried over onto the PlayStation 4 with Everybody's Golf VR, and it's wonderful there, too. This is just a fun game experience for me. Like, I had such a blast playing this when I first played it back in the 90s, and it's something that, even to this day, I love going back to and playing because it's just such a charming presentation and just such a truly fun game. Like I said, Hot Shots Golf 2 is one of the best golf games ever made as far as I'm concerned, and it's something that I just think a lot of people kind of overlooked because it's a sports game, but don't let it fool you. Hot Shots Golf 2 is worth playing. It takes a lot to see an advertisement and for it to hook me and make me want to play a game. But that is exactly what happened with Tomba. I love Tomba. This is an amazing game with a memorable character that has a distinct visual aesthetic. Like, not only is the character memorable by being a caveman with a bright pink cotton candy hairdo, it's also got this kind of neat claymation feel. Like, it's not exactly claymation, but it feels constructed rather than graphical as far as its presentation style. And the gameplay is incredible. It has like quests inside these different platform levels that you have to complete by going back and forth throughout the level to unlock things and to find different parts of the level to complete the different tasks that you have. It is one of the best games I've ever played. Like, this one to me, when I first saw it, I went, yeah, I need to play that game. And it is just a magical, wonderful experience. Tomba is amazing. If you have never had the opportunity to play it, you need to. It's that good. This is one of my favorite games ever made, one of my favorite games on the PS1, and just such a wonderful platforming experience that I wish more games took cues from.
Round 1, fight!
Up to the point of the mid to late 90s, Capcom was pretty well known for doing 2D fighters. And when they dipped into the 3D fighter genre, the Street Fighter EX plus Alpha, as well as this game here, Rival Schools United by Fate, to say the least, I was skeptical. But getting into game, Rival Schools just worked. The characters were fun, the storyline was over the top and frankly kind of dumb, but the gameplay was where it was at. It was a solid gameplay experience that did something a little bit different than other Capcom fighters at the time, and that's pretty cool in the grand scheme of things, because it's real easy to fall into kind of the same traps and the same tropes that were present in Street Fighters and Darkstalkers, but we got something just a little bit different by putting that 3D element into play here with Rival Schools. There's fantastic characters, great combat, some over-the-top, silly, ridiculous storylines, but I personally think the game is wonderful, and I think it's a ton of fun. This is one I pop in pretty regularly when I have a little bit of time to play, and I just think it's a fantastic title. This and its sequel, Project Justice, are both magnificent. Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman! This game is so stupid. Just utterly ridiculous. One of the dumbest games I have ever played. And I love everything about it. Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman is such a terrible game. I'm not going to tell you it's brilliant. It's not. It's a great idea. It's an absolutely phenomenal idea, but it is executed horribly because the game is about 10 years ahead of its time. I have said for years, if Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman released on the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation 3, it would have been one of the biggest hits of that console generation. But given the limitations of the PS1, it's just kind of seen as this obscure, weird action game that not a lot of people have ever played. I remember when it released, it was something that I had my eyes on, and I actually found it at a movie gallery on sale in their used bin, and I bought it for $3, and I still have that copy to this day. The game alone is worth playing just to see the intro song because it is so over the top and so ridiculous. But the gameplay itself, it's still a fun game and still has a wickedly hilarious sense of humor that a lot of games don't have to this day. This was Devil May Cry before Devil May Cry was Devil May Cry. It is that good of a game. If you ever get the chance to play it, you won't, well, you probably will regret it. It's janky as hell, but I still love it to this day, and something I play at least once a year. I love snowboarding video games, and the first one I actually ever played wasn't 1080 Avalanche or anything like that. It was actually Cool Borders on the PS1. And my favorite in that series is Cool Borders 3. It doesn't really do anything groundbreaking or change the game in any way, shape, or form. It's just solidly made and really fun to play. I fell in love with snowboarding games because of the Cool Borders series, and it's something to this day I still enjoy playing. Everything from SSX all the way up to Riders Republic today are games that I enjoy, and even Steep from Ubisoft I thought had a lot of promise. But it all started with Cool Borders for me. I love this series. I think it's truly fun. It's a little bit clunky in the grand scheme of things, but to me, it's something that I can still go back and play and enjoy, and I think more people need to recognize it for its influence on the industry overall, because personally to me, without games like 1080 Snowboarding or this series here with Cool Borders, we never would have gotten the SSX franchise. So it kills me that I used to own this game, and now I have to play it on an emulator because it's just so damn expensive. If you don't know what this game is, this is The Misadventures of Tronbon. This is one of my absolute favorite games released on the PlayStation 1, and like a lot of people, I got rid of a lot of my PS1 games when the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox launched. I traded all that stuff in so I can move on to the next generation, and I look back at it now and I realize the error of my ways because, I mean, this game is worth hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. And that stinks because I think a lot of people really need the opportunity to play it. Now you can, because there are digital options where you're able to play this game, or you can emulate it like I'm doing here. And it's just a wonderful experience because as much as I love the Mega Man Legends series, and this kind of is a stand-in for that whole franchise here, Misadventures of Tronbon to me is the best of the bunch because it mixes up the gameplay. It offers the most solid visual and gameplay aesthetic that the other ones don't have. You get puzzle solving, kind of like these Descent level games, and the standard 3D adventure platforming and exploration that you got with the regular Mega Man Legends games. And I just love this one. Tronbon's one of my favorite characters. I love playing as her in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I love her in this game. She's just a wonderful character. And this is a fantastic game. If you have an opportunity to play this on an emulator or to pick this up digitally on a digital storefront, do so. You won't regret it. While nowadays we're kind of spoiled for amazing tactical strategy games on a variety of consoles, back in the era of the PS1, the main one we had was Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, we did have some other ones that released around the same time, but the most landmark of that bunch was, to me at least, Final Fantasy Tactics. It told an absolutely compelling story. You were in the shoes of Ramza, a wonderful character with fantastic supporting cast and memorable protagonists and antagonists that helped you or hindered you along the way. It's a remarkable title and something that I have gone back to very frequently over the years and something that I absolutely love. It is a deep and difficult game with a lot of grinding, but I think if you play this one, if you have any kind of affection for tactical strategy games at all, you'll be able to see through it and enjoy what the game offers, because the different jobs that you're able to get, the beautiful visuals, the fantastic music, and the just ridiculously compelling story that's involved in this game is amazing. It's something that I come back to all the time, and something that, to me, is nearly perfect in its execution. Even with all the grindy aspects that are in there, it's still, I think, one of the best games ever made. Final Fantasy Tactics is just wonderful.
Kick, boom, you remember. Chop, chop, back again, yes, forever. You have many challenges coming at ya.
When I talk about rhythm games on the PlayStation 1, almost everyone immediately goes to Parappa the Rapper, and rightfully so. It's a fantastic game. The sequel is also wonderful. But for me, the one that I absolutely fell head over heels for when I was younger was Jammer Lammy. I loved the music. I loved the characters. I just loved the presentation style of the game. And it's something that I played constantly. This was the first rhythm game I ever really got into. I had played Parappa before it and I enjoyed it, but this one kept me coming back for more. I love Jammer Lammy. I wish we had actually seen more sequels in this game series, because I just think that Lammy herself is wonderful, the music is fantastic, and the graphics in the game, while obviously directly influenced by Parappa, are unique and distinct enough that they offer their own look and feel to the franchise. I think this game is wonderful. If you haven't played it, I'm not going to tell you to do so now unless you have a PS1 hooked up to a CRT, just because the delays inherent in going to an HD TV make this game really unforgiving and really hard to play. As you can see, I'm performing terribly on these songs that I'm playing here, but it is still an absolutely wonderful game and something I truly adore and think a lot of people overlooked because of their love of Parappa. This is by far my favorite game of all time. As much as I love games like Final Fantasy VI or Super Mario Bros. 3, Suikoden 2 is the one that set the table and is the one that I come back to legitimately every year. I have played through this game every year since I bought it. It is my all-time favorite video game. It has some of the best characters, some of the most memorable gameplay, incredible visuals, a huge world to explore, a fantastic, deep, emotional, compelling storyline that you just want to throw yourself into, and kind of even a Pokemon aesthetic of gotta catch 'em all by trying to assemble the full 108 Stars of Destiny. It's such an important game to me that when people ask me what my favorite game is, I can say without hesitation that it is Suikoden 2, because all of the characters in the game just mean more to me than anything else. I cannot wait for the HD remasters of Suikoden 1 and Suikoden 2 to release, because I think that the world needs the opportunity to play these more than they have had, because for as long as I have known about these games, they have been difficult to find. Even when they were new releases, they were hard to find, and they've only gone up in value since. Suikoden 2, like I said, it is my all-time favorite game. On any list, this would be the number one game that I keep coming back to.
There you have it, everybody. 10 PS1 games I keep coming back to. Now, this could have been a list of 20, 30, or 40 because it has an incredible library. Those are just the 10 that I'm playing right now that I keep coming back to that I really enjoy. Let me know in the comments down below, what are the PS1 games that you always come back to, that you always want to play? I would love to hear your list. Till next time, I've been Jay. Remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.